The world we are living right now is just a lie.
Increasingly worrying trend of spreading inaccurate information.
Our society has developed into a level of complexities that everything now exists within a gray area, especially after the inventions of internet with more than 4 billion internet users globally in 2020. Fake news has been widespread rapidly days over day and becomes a major problem that can lead to the end of these human civilizations. So how can we measure the severity of misinformations? One of the perfect examples is the ownership of Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa Islands, which raised the conflict between China and Vietnam. For decades, there has been a competing claims over who controls all the tiny islands in the Nine-Dash Line. Digging back to the history of South China Sea, China used to draw an imprecise line on the map that occupied more than 90% of the South China Sea during World War II, and they claim that all the islands in this area belong to them, including Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa. In 1973, Vietnam has historical evidence showing that they have a full undeniable sovereignty over these two islands, such as the Nam map that was drawn in 1749 by the Westerners. Despite all the evidence given by Vietnamese government, China still sent big ships and cover all around the reef of Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa Islands. A video recorded by Vietnamese fishermen showing how badass Chinese government was when some of their ships used giant water tape that they call dragon pipe to sink Vietnamese people fishing boats whenever they get near to Spratly Islands. In the years of 2000s, there's a movement with both sides, Vietnamese and Chinese governments even decide to build military base preparing for the fight against each other for the ownership of Spratly Islands. And the magnitude of this war can lead to the next World War III. Through all the historical information we just collect from the past, which country actually has an authority to control over Spratly Islands? Vietnam or China?
Vietnam, always Vietnam.
Why?
They first focus on name, and we already we already obtained it. It's just like China, they just abuse their power and take it, and they put out wrong information, inaccurate, telling the whole world that it's their island.
Belongs to China.
Why?
Because it belongs to them. Because in China's education, it says that in the book, in the textbook, it says that Hoàng belongs to China because the Hoàng is in South China Sea. Therefore, Hoàng is in China. Yes.
So a friend of mine said that Trường Sa and Hoàng Sa Islands belongs to Vietnam. How do you feel about that? And is there any kind of misinformation here?
Yes, there are misinformation there. So, I think about your friend, I think they are Vietnamese, and Vietnamese system teach them that Hoàng belongs to Vietnamese, and it's the same way to China. But the thing is that Hoàng actually in China's South Sea, therefore it's actually belongs to China, and there's a lot of misinformation about it now.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I would say Vietnam, probably mainly because I've been raised to believe this, and I've been taught in schools and by the Vietnamese community and social media that it belongs.
You know what? A friend of mine, his name is Howie, said that Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa belongs to China. How do you...
What you say?
Is there any kind of misinformation here?
Maybe? Okay, let's say that Vietnam is, let's say that it's an established fact that is accepted globally that Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa belong to Vietnam. And he's taught in school in Taiwan that those islands belongs to mainland China. Were you? No. Okay, let's say that he is. He was taught that. I would say that is misinformation.
You see, there's a big information here when some say Hoàng Sa Islands belong to Vietnam and others say belong to China. And the reason leads to this result mostly come from their parents, educations, relatives. So who's right? The answer is no idea, and it's still a big question mark. This problem again dug up by TikTok through the event of H&M. This local brand without any specific research has accepted the order of Chinese government to rectify the map of China, which also include the 9-dash line. This kind of misinformation from H&M has upset Vietnamese people, and a lot of TikTok videos has been posted for a call to boycott H&M products. Since TikTok is a great influential social platform, this topic has gained a lot of popularity.
Quần đảo Hoàng Sa, Trường Sa là của Việt Nam.
I don't really think it's. I think it's not really a problem of misinformation. It's more of just how, like H&M portray their ideology, and it doesn't fit well with the Viet community, especially because it's a very controversial topic on who those islands belong to. But it definitely impacts their ability to sell products here in H&M. A lot of, it's already apparent that the Viet community is beginning to boycott H&M products because they try to push these ideologies.
Yeah. So I think about the misinformation about H&M, it will decrease a large amount of customers going to their shop and buying their clothes, and giving them bad reputations, and Vietnamese people will be hating on them and never going there again.
I mean, if you look at Vietnam right now, there are multiple stores that are being owned by H&M, and none of them have any like the requirement customer in there. So I think it does affect a lot.
So there's always been some fights between China and Vietnam, like the fishermen, like the fishing on the sea, and then like Chinese attacking Vietnamese, something like that. I think with this H&M thing going on, and the Hoàng Sa Island, it will increase like just a little bit between the war. The damage between the two nations.
Yeah, because that group is original belong to us. We just China just keep like abusing like and bully us because we're small. So naturally they just want to take more and take more of it now. So of course either we have to retaliate or they just gonna take more of us.
Yeah. So do you think in the future they're gonna have a fight?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Getting back to TikTok, the source of misinformations, it has become the biggest social platform in the world with a growth of 375% per year. Currently, TikTok has witnessed more than 689 million active users worldwide. Following by that, this social platform also suffers from a rapid increase of misinformations. H&M isn't the only misinformations available on TikTok that create conflict between China and Vietnam. TikTok also become the source of the most COVID-19 misinformations. COVID-19 today is one of the possible factors that can lead to the end of the war with more than 148 million and 509,110 cases in the world. Even though the world has invented vaccinations for this dangerous virus, but the people refuse to take the vaccines because there are lots of TikTok videos claiming that vaccines can cause autism. This is a completely misinformation.
3 hours later.
Vaccines do not cause autism.
There are some medical evidence showing that COVID vaccines do not cause autism, but because of TikTok misinformation, people are being scared of getting it. Getting that chance, COVID is spreading widely all around the world right now and becomes one of the major factors that can lead to the end of the human civilizations.
Yes, because from the U.S. Election, I can tell that some people are making videos to roast Joe Biden. So I saw videos about how he do his speeches and about China and coronavirus, but he doesn't seem like what he's talking about. But it might those people are hating on him, so it's getting people are making video to make his reputation down, so make Donald Trump rise again. And for coronavirus, there are some videos about how in China it's so bad, everybody have to wear mask, wear eye covers, something like that. And look at Vietnam, so great, nobody need to wear mask, and everybody partying around, and they're just making China looks bad. I would agree that it is a major factor simply because it's a social media platform where a lot of agendas can be pushed and spread. So let's say the Black Lives Matter movement, it can really be made more apparent, made more powerful. The message can be spread. It's the magnitude of the problem can be amplified on TikTok, because right now TikTok is it number one? It's one of the top social media platforms where people come to express their opinions, and there's a high chance that misinformation is apparent in these cases where organizations try to pass their ideologies. Like, let's say Black Lives Matter try to promote a bunch of black people's lives. Let's say George Floyd, that's a controversial case because a lot of people believe that the white cop that took him down was at fault. But there are also a lot of claims and proof already that he died from overdose and not from the cop taking him down. But he acts as a martyr, and people use George Floyd as an excuse to promote the movement, and a lot of it resulted in a lot of protests, a lot of conflict between races in America, and allowed for a lot of looting, and especially the rape and the looting and protests black people.
TikTok user is usually they want views, likes, and they just follow the trend. They don't fucking research about what they post. So imagine they post something enrage in one country, what they doing in the other one. So there can be a war, and maybe even World War III happen because of TikTok.
Yes, and
I think misinformation is definitely a plausible factor that could lead to the end of human civilization, like it has before. Like maybe misinformation on the ongoing Black Lives Matter movement is tearing the United States apart, and it could lead to a very potential race war again, just like back then when slavery was abolished.
Okay.
So yes, it could also divide nations. I mean, it has already divided nations already through a lot of propaganda and nationalism. So yes, it's definitely a major contributor to how our world could go down.
I mean, if you talk about itself only, probably not. But I mean, if you say it's a major factor, then it probably is.
So, you think misinformations can lead to the end of human civilizations?
I mean, everything can lead to the ending of civilization.
Okay.
Yes, it can, because like North Korea.
To the end of human civilizations.
Human. Maybe just a 50%, because if there are some misinformation, but like there are also smart people which also going against the misinformation, which corrects the misinformation, and it will be the true information, and there won't be any war going on. So it depends.
Misinformations can save the world for real, especially the event called the October 27, 1962. So this event is mainly about the conflict between America and Soviet Unions. These two countries, two sides, decided to create a full-scale fight with thousands of nuclear bomb, missiles, rockets that can end this war for real. But eventually, because of just one misinformation, it has saved the entire world from getting died. You are having such a good life right now, all thanks to this guy. His name is Algabath. This guy belongs to the part of Soviet Union. He initially thought that the war between America and Soviet Union has begun and almost end, so he decided not to launch any nuclear bomb towards the America because it's quite meaningless. But actually the war hasn't begun yet. The American later then they wait until the Soviet Union start a fight first, but they wait so long that haven't seen any sign of attack from the Soviet Unions. They decide to retrieve their troops. At the end, there's nothing happens. There's no nuclear war between both sides, and they both approach a peaceful commitment. Information also has its good sides. When it can save the entire war, prevent the entire war from the disaster. The 19th event of 1962 is one of the perfect examples for this.
I mean, after the movies, I'm starting to get conflicted because misinformation is original bad thing, but like if you use in another perspective, then it can be a good thing too.
No, so from the video, that misinformation actually saved the world by saying like they will bomb everywhere around the world and human, and that information leads to two nations stop fighting and having peace, and I think that could happen in the future too, since we have more nuclear bomb now.
Well, my point still stands, and yeah, I still believe that could lead to the end of civilization because it temporarily disables conflicts between parties doesn't mean that it's a permanent solution to peace. I mean, if you look at 1984, there's not a lot of conflict because people are under severe manipulation and censorship, that it forms this facade that everyone is living peacefully. But in reality, I believe that it just stagnates growth, and a lot of human rights are violated, and it's bound to lead to a revolution at some point. And just from that alone, I don't think that misinformation can be used as a good factor in the long run.